by the blood of our people are your lands kept safe.
I see in your eyes the same fear that will take the heart of me.
So do all who live to see such times.
By all that you hold dear, this good earth.
There's some good in this earth, and it's worth fighting.
It's trying to warn them, and nobody believes her, and also they like the fact that the elves are gone, and so it's one of those scenes where it's like,
Yeah.
you're screaming at the TV saying like, how can you guys be so like even someone's like, you need proof, and she's like, the town is freaking burned and there's no bodies. Like, that is like, go look, just go look over there. But nope, it's, you need proof in this house.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't write comments about the plot at this point, but yeah, you have the fight with the Theo's just like, I don't know, he gets mad and he starts hitting the floor.
Yeah, so he thinks he set this up before, like the story's been set up. Yeah, he thinks that there's mice like chewing through the floorboards or something like that, and he gets, so it looks like he's kind of getting a little bit possessed in a way, like.
Yeah, he's really overreacting to mice.
Yeah, like he's staring into a fire. He hears the scratching, and then he grabs a fire poker and just starts slamming into the ground, which, yeah, that's a huge overreaction.
Yeah, you're wrecking your floor. Your mom's going to come home and be like, what the fuck did you do?
I mean, luckily for him, there were orcs under there, because now he can blame the orcs and be like, they did this.
It wasn't me, it was the orcs.
The orcs, they just attacked me.
Saved by the orcs. And then they fight the orc, and he's tough.
Well, actually, we do get a quick cut where we are with the Sylvan Elf, and he makes a daring escape through this cavern system.
Yes.
Goes into a little pool of water, comes up, and then he's grabbed. He's grabbed by something. Like, we're not. I'm assuming it's orcs, but I don't know. It could be other humans, or it could be something else. I don't even know. Then we get the fight scene with the 2v1 on one orc, and this thing looks terrifying. Like, this thing looks pretty.
It's a zombie. It's like impossible to kill. It doesn't. You can. I mean, orcs are variable. Sometimes you can just you can knock them down and they're dead, and sometimes they they're unkillable.
Well, so
only decapitation can kill it.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind too, and I think we're gonna get to this in a future episode where we talk about this, but in terms of like the weaponry, we're clearly, these two humans that are fighting this orc, they're using like a little kitchen knife and
household items,
like a saw blade. Like, so to me, I can see how that might not phase an orc versus like elven blades and dwarf axes. Those I can see just kind of cutting clean through orcs and doing serious damage. But yeah, this orc is tough, and these are clearly as Gimli would say, like a mindless rabble of orcs. Like, this orc is just kind of like foraging in the kitchen for stuff. It's like making a mess and just like looking for. It's very like almost rodentish or ratish. Like, it's kind of scavenging around and like scurrying around. I actually really like this fight scene. I mean, I know it's a bad fight in terms of like.
Well, and you have some jump scares here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and
very
the
much
costume
like
looks
horror.
awesome. This is something that I was harping on for months now. The orcs look fantastic, and this is our first look at the orcs, and I thought it was very well done in terms of design. Just like, it has some sort of bone helmet, like it's like they've got this crazy culture going on that we don't know anything about. It's just a monster, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to see this as a monster. You don't even need to know that it's an orc or whatever. Like, you could just be like, there's a monster, it's attacking these people, and that's all you need for the scene, and it works perfectly.
Well, that did remind me. I found it odd that Theo is hiding there, and then his mom comes in, and he stays hiding. He tells her to go get help, but then he closes the door back and like, why don't you both leave?
Well, yeah, and like, so I think, yeah, I was kind of confused too. So what it seemed like happened was he was scared that him walking across that area would alert the orc that was directly below. And then his mom, who kind of picks up on that, she doesn't think, she thinks by running away that she won't make it. Like this thing might catch her. That's what I think is
So
supposed.
she chooses to hide as well.
Yeah, so I think her plan was, look, if I run now, this thing is gonna pop out of the floor and chase after me. But if I duck in here and it pops out, which it does,
maybe it will pass.
Yeah. So I kind of see what they're going for, but yeah, it was very strange. Like the fact that the orc left in the first place. You know what I mean? So the orc comes up out of this hole in the ground, tries to get Theo, but he hides in like a little cupboard that it can't get access to because it's got like a latch. And then it leaves, and I guess it goes back underground to like wait for him to open up. You know, maybe that's what it was doing. Either way, it sets up some good scares for a Lord of the Rings show. I was not. I mean, I knew the orcs were gonna look pretty good and scary, but I didn't realize that they were gonna play that scene like a horror scene. We're peeking out of this door, and then all of a sudden we can't see this orc, and then it moves in front of the door, and you're like, "Oh God, it's gonna open this door." So yeah, I thought it was a nice pace for the show to take there, because I do want these orcs to feel like monsters. I don't want them to feel like nothing. Just you can take on like 10 at a time. I don't want that for regular humans, especially. Like this, we're not dealing with Aragorn here. We're dealing with two people who have never battled before, which they're gonna have to struggle to fight this thing, and they do.
Yeah, and they're not like Theo's like not he's not a grown man. He's still a teenager.
That's right.
And Bronwyn looks kind of dainty to me out. She doesn't look that strong.
Yeah,
so
now, she might be a little bit strong because she is hauling that water up the well all the time. But yeah, it's hard to tell. But even if she is strong, the orc's gonna
be stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing I noted. Okay, I'm jumping forward a scene. So Nori and her friend, Poppy, they're going back to the Meteor Man, and they're holding the lanterns. And people were commenting on these. Like I saw a few videos of people commenting on how that type of lantern would never work. Holding it out like that, you're gonna hurt your hand. It's not fire in there; it's fireflies. So
Wait,
this does work.
Did people think it was fire?
They thought it was fire, and they thought you can't. That lantern would never work. You can't hold the lantern like that. The heat will burn your hand. This was another point people were making fun of. They're saying this is a stupid prop, and
well, they were wrong.
They're wrong. They're fireflies. That presents other problems. But
yes.
how are they gonna catch all these fireflies and turn into a lantern?
Yes, I mean perhaps they have ways of luring them in there with maybe like food or something for the fireflies. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. Like I even if it were fire, I can still see past it, but I didn't think it was fire. I thought there was either, well, it turns out to be fireflies, but that was one of my thoughts. But also, I thought it could be some sort of luminous plant that grows, like, I don't know, like there's a bunch of things that it could be in terms of, like, this is a fantasy world after all, but yeah, it's stuff like that where people are picking it apart, where it gets a little bit ridiculous. Like the lantern is not a major plot device. It just if it happened to be fire.
And then all the fireflies die from Meteor Man.
So that's like, so we get a couple clues here, right? So now that I think that's the last scene of Meteor Man. Yes, so that is the last scene of Meteor Man for now. We get his arrival, which we hear the black speech, and the leaves start getting a little bit. They get that kind of black sludge look. It could be blood. I don't know what it is, but some sort of black goo, we get the reference that his fire is cold.
Oh, I don't remember that. Okay,
So
that's
she,
good.
when she first meets the, so we kind of skipped this. I didn't want to talk about it until now that we're at the end here. But
Okay.
when she first meets the Meteor Man and she's kind of going up to that pit of fire, I was like, wait a minute, that's a pit of fire. Like, why is she gonna go into
it? It's not burning her. Okay.
It's not burning her. She's like, it's not hot. She says those words. So we've got the fire's not hot. His arrival made
It's Sauron for sure then.
And him talking to fireflies killed them. Unlike Gandalf, who talked to a moth and it made it all the way to the Eagles. So
yes, so this is not an Astari. This is
not
Sauron.
Gandalf. People were saying this is Gandalf.
Or a blue wizard
or a blue wizard.
But it's not. It's definitely not, unless these blue wizards are a bit kookier than the wizards we've seen.
See, I always thought the blue. So maybe this is just my misunderstanding of the blue wizards, but I actually thought that they were just so good. Like they wanted to blend into the human world so well that they were almost like they were just indistinguishable. Like they were just there, but just no one knew that they were wizards. Because like that's the whole. You're not supposed to run around being like I'm a wizard. Like you're supposed to sort of be there to help guide, but like not take over in a way. Yeah. So I think there's something to be said there about how his presence affects things. And I guess real quick we can kind of touch on this is where we see. I don't know if they named the character yet. I believe this is during the third, but
yeah.
So his father. So they are kind of breaking some lore there, but his father. That's the stately dwarf style that I actually was missing when I saw Peter Jackson's Hobbit trilogy, and we see the dwarf army come. They kind of play it almost for laughs in a way. Like the dwarves are just very, like they're skilled warriors, but they're just very kind of goofy characters.
Yeah.
This guy is a clever, stately dwarf that is trying to make sure that he doesn't lead his people into some folly, and I think that's commendable, but also it's kind of screwing up because we know that Elrond is not doing anything nefarious, so we're hoping that Durin the Fourth can convince his father that he can trust the elves, but
that actually had me thinking too, like they're really like Elrond just like he's given a task, he's like I'm gonna get it done, like Celebrimbor getting like a special forge. I mean, that's not life and death, and they're really going out of their way. Let's build an alliance with dwarves so that we can do this.
Well, the thing is that I think they tried to set this up as in like, oh, Elrond thought it would be easy, and he even up until the point that they were actually hammering rocks, I think he thought it was easy, and it wasn't until they were on that lift that he realized that oh, this guy's mad at me for something. And even I'm sitting there going like, how the heck does Elrond not know that this guy's mad at him? And it turns out he's missed both his wedding and the birth of his children. And I was just wondering, like, did Elrond get these memos or messages or no? Like, you know what I mean? Like, was he even invited? Like, how was he? Because even if Elrond is like, oh, 20 years, that's not too much. Like, I can see them later. I don't know. It just kind of seems weird if Elrond got, say, 3 messages: my wedding, my first kid, and my second kid, and Elrond ignores all of them. That doesn't strike me as Elrond. So that part was kind of strange to me. But yeah, that's the end. We do see potentially the Morgoth blade. Unclear because the blood. The blood seems to activate it and reforge it. I'm not sure how big it got because I was trying to see it on the character at the very last shot there as he's walking away. I couldn't see it, so I don't know if it got super big or if it just was like a short sword or something.
But yeah, that made me think, like, because these humans were they were evil, right? So maybe this is like some it's an old relic from the days of Morgoth, and like some human like used to wield this sword or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's why. Like, I have no idea what this thing could.
Like maybe the elves are right. There is still some sort of cult of Morgoth active among the humans in this village, and
But
they're
even if they are right, they still choose to leave. Well, at least the king does. So it's still.
some of them are maybe, yeah. I don't know. You're right. Yeah. I don't know. Um, and Aaron Deer comments that he's been posted there for 79 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about there, he's been there. He's seen humans live full lives, like birth to
Yes.
death.
Yeah. Everyone he
in
met
his
when he
time
first
there.
got there is most likely dead.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
one person has survived.
maybe a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like who were little kids when he was there, or babies. Yeah.
Yeah, like someone who was just born as he arrived there. They might live
Mhm.
79 years, but odds are against them.
Mhm. Yeah, especially in this time. Yeah, and this doesn't look like a very prosperous village.
No.
Everyone looks like leather except for like one kind of good-looking woman who is in a relationship with an elf.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that about wraps up our at least our breakdown of the first two episodes.